You are now tuned in to the STL Bucket List show. This show is supported by stlouisarts.org, your place to explore everything that makes St. Louis so special, creative, and vibrant. From music, theater, festivals, galleries, comedy, and more, head over to stlouisarts.org to find your vibe today.
If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune in to the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, hey, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home, yeah.
Ladies, gents, Tecovas Boots and Western Goods are coming to St. Louis, and you're invited to their grand opening event Friday and Saturday, September 29th and 30th at Plaza Frontenac. They'll have live music, free drinks, and swag bags all weekend long. Stop by, grab a cold one, and let their knowledgeable staff get you fitted and acquainted with their mighty comfortable, handcrafted pair of boots that you'll enjoy for years to come. September 29th and 30th at Plaza Frontenac. Tecovas, don't go gently. We'll see you there.
What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to our 85th episode of the STL Bucket List Show. I'm your host, Marissa Farrell.
And I am your other host, Luke Farrell, and we're sharing the mic today. This is a first in the studio today. Definitely check this off our bucket list. We got 3 people in the studio. Full table. This is a really special episode. Been interacting with these guys for a while. They're building an incredible company right here in St. Louis and across the nation as well. So I got the normal brand on the podcast. This is not a normal podcast today. So, so I'll go ahead and introduce everybody. We can kind of start. You guys are looking at us now. So we got Lan, we got Jimmy, and we got Conrad. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
So I want to start it off pretty organic. The cool thing about our podcast is we like to kind of talk about the story behind the business. So before we get into the business, though, I want to bring it back. I know you guys have a huge family. I've been seeing these news things pop out. You guys got a huge family here in St. Louis, but I want to learn a little bit more about your guys' upbringing, kind of tell me where you guys are from and go from there. So.
Yeah, thanks for having us. One of 10 kids here with 2 of my brothers, and born and raised St. Louis, and we love St. Louis and love working with my brothers. So I have 6 brothers, 3 sisters, and there's nothing more important than our family. So yeah,
that's awesome. And you guys are from St. Louis, grew up in St. Louis. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, where at?
Like Kirkwood area, but all went to high school in St. Louis. I was in college here. He was in Mizzou. And St. Louis has been a big part of the company. Big part of the company mission, frankly, is try to build a fashion business in the heart of the country. Even the bear is inspired by the Missouri State flag, and which used to be kind of all over the state. Actually, they're kind of coming back in the Ozarks. And so this idea of kind of like, and if you know the history a little bit of St. Louis, Wash Ave was a big fashion hub like back in the day. And so to be a part of that, come back, now you're starting to see more clothing companies around here. And there have been big ones here as well. But to be a part of that in even a small way, St. Louis is on every logo, every tag, on every shirt that we make. And so it's at the heart of the company. Yeah.
So 10 of you. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so like people think it's crazy. So my parents are divorced, but like I'm one of 6, 7. Wow. So like I feel you in the big family. So what was that like growing up in such a big family? And like what number are you in the line? I'm just curious. I'm number 2. Let's just say that. Okay. Yes, for number 2.
I'm number 4. Okay. And my dad's one of 8 kids. So we've always just been around family. Yeah. And so we have tons of cousins, and growing up with a big family, there's really nothing like it. So you're never bored, and
you always have a best friend somewhere.
Yep, you always have a best friend, and we're just super lucky to have a big family.
That's crazy. That's dope. I love it.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, and we grew up kind of on teams really our whole lives. You're kind of born into a team. We have like 40 some odd cousins on both sides. Maybe it's like 50. So we really whether we lived next to our grandparents, so we'd be with them all the time, or then aunts, uncles, cousins, even friends become like your friends of your younger siblings become your friends.
Sure.
So everybody is kind of shared. I mean, if you're from a family of 6, that's a huge
There's
family.
overlap. Like my sister and I, we're 18 months apart. So like she's a grade younger than me. And so like definitely that you run in the same circles at some point.
I think like anything, I think like even 4 and above, then it just becomes kind of like, because the inmates kind of keep track of each other by some point. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's cool.
That's incredible. That's special that you guys are all so close too. That's awesome. So family is super important, but I want to talk a little bit about the Normal brand story because it isn't so normal. You started back in 2015, correct?
Yep.
So if I can throw this to you, Jimmy, but if you can just tell us about that origin, like kind of the brand story, how you started, some of those, ins and outs of the business.
Who came up with the idea of starting a business, like what that looked like?
Yeah, origin is it really does come back to family a little bit also. We grew up in a very entrepreneurial family. So our dad works with his brothers. Our mom is very entrepreneurial. So we were always encouraged from the time we were little kids to kind of think outside the box and run your own businesses. So literally from 12 years old, Conrad and I had a sports camp that we ran, which was basically like that. Actually, that business continues to this day. Our youngest siblings run that. Wow. And so that was, it was like glorified babysitting, but it was great because, you're 12, 13 years old and you're able to you got to deal with more, adults, things like that. So from that to sealing driveways to selling poinsettias like a Christmas flower, those kind of things really influenced. It was like, okay, there's ways that, you can do things on your own. And that was very much encouraged by our family. At the same time, I loved clothes, loved fashion. Our grandpa really inspired that. He was a really sharp guy. Back then, 30 years ago, everybody was wearing suits to the office and stuff like that. So
Casual
loved
Fridays
wear.
weren't a thing. Then.
Yeah, no, there's no such thing, right? And so that kind of love of clothes, but never really thought about doing it professionally, just liked clothes. So I was working in finance, I was working in investment banking, very different from what we're doing now. And I just said, where can I find a normal shirt? And so you flash forward, I started making them, kind of this idea of this normal shirt. People were asking me about it. I wanted to start something anyways, always wanted to work with my brother. So I quit my job, moved into our parents' basement. Instead of just going shirts, we called it the Normal brand. Started shipping out of our parents' basement in March of 2015. My brothers joined me very shortly thereafter that, and now we run it together. So it's been a really fun ride.
So how scary was it? Like, were you scared to say, I'm going to start my own clothing company and leave this job that probably has all these benefits and consistency in my life, and just I'm going to live with you, Mom and Dad, for a little bit, and we're going to do this? Yeah,
I think it was again a huge benefit. It's like a superpower, really, is when you've got people around you that really believe in you.
Right.
And so having that support system, and I mean, our parents believed in us before we did, I think. And so them instilling that confidence, and then adopting the mindset of kind of that burn the boats mentality, like we're going to make this work no matter what. And I think that took a while to get there. But then I think once you get there, you can get past a lot.
Totally.
That fear, for sure.
It's everything. And I teach that to my kids. I'm like, as long as you, in your mind, like, it's a mentality. As long as you say you can do it, you can do it. You really have to believe it and put the work in, and it will manifest. So
we talked about that too, like even with our kid on the way of like, we're not going to say can't in the house at all. Like that's the bad word. Any other word, just not can. And, and I'm super big on manifestation and law of attraction, and being in business, you have to see it before you can get it. And that's huge. So but having family members that do that, and that's the one unique thing, because 20, 30 years ago, entrepreneurship wasn't as glorified as it was. Like they would be like, hey, just get the job at investment banking, keep the job, stuff like that. So
have that security.
So okay, so then you said quickly after that. So who joined the team first then? Lan?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us that story.
So I graduated from DePaul University, played football with my other brother Nico, and right after college, I was actually, let me back up a little bit. So the company launched March 10th, 2015. I graduated college in May and was helping Jimmy out and calling on boutiques and things like that, and kind of looking for other jobs as well. And then August of 2015 was our first trade show. It's called the Chicago Collective, and we packed up a van. Actually, all of our siblings that could go, and my dad, and we went to this trade show, and it's set up a booth. My mom set up the booth, and we were able to just really work hard and hustle and convince, I think, about 30 boutiques all over the country to carry the Normal brand. And at that point, we only had 4 shirts, and we had some hats. And if you fast forward, even to today, that's still our #1 trade show. And so that was really how it started. And yeah.
So did you have another, like, this was like your job out of college then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were interning over the summer.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, man, this is what, because, you're probably like in that middle stage of like, should I go work somewhere? Should I go do this? And you fell in love with it after that show.
Yeah. It was, none of us had any experience doing this. We don't have any background in fashion or anything like that. And I think I was just fortunate enough where I graduated right when the company started. And so it put me in a good spot that I'm grateful for. And yeah,
he's underselling himself a little bit. I begged my dad, because he was going to move to Chicago, and I begged my dad, please let him stay here, and let's try to build this thing, because we would have been hosed, because we definitely we had a bunch of inventory coming in and nowhere for it to go. So it would have just built up in big dusty piles.
Sure.
And so us going to that trade show and opening these retailers, which is a huge part of our business today, this wholesale. So now, from 20 or 30 doors or whatever it was back in 2015, now we sell to 400 to 500 doors around the country. And so Lan leads that push. And so having that was a big deal.
Wow. And bringing it kind of back to St. Louis, it is every time we go to any of these trade shows, which we go to a lot more now, in addition to Chicago, we do kind of, when we go to these shows, being a brand from the middle of the country and based in St. Louis, have a little bit of chip on our shoulder, because, most of the brands are coast, right? So New York, LA, or whatnot. So going to these shows and being from the middle of the country and being based here in St. Louis, it gives us a little, I guess, extra motivation.
Yeah,
and just
absolutely.
to not be happy with just a little bit of growth,
Right.
That's incredible growth. That's crazy. So 500 stores, or 500 stores that offer your stuff. And then now, speaking of stores, so I know, Conrad, you're big in getting new locations. So tell us about that first one. Where was it at? How scared were you guys before you opened that store up? Tell us about that story.
So the first one, we used to have these Monday morning meetings, and there was always like a little line that said like retail store ? And I think I just kind of got assigned the task. I don't know how that happened, but we used, so our dad and his brothers are in a company called Sansone Group, and we just started talking to them like, hey, are there any locations that we can, basically move into and then not sign a long-term lease, which was a lot harder to find, like a good location without signing long-term. But we were fortunate enough to find our first store, which is right at 8809 Ladue. So it's in Colonial Marketplace next to Splash and FedEx. And that started as a 6-month lease. We pretty much just hired a team of people with no experience whatsoever, like a bunch of college people. And then my friend, or our friend, who was like an associate at J. Crew, and he became the manager. And we really just focused on making an experience. That was our biggest thing. None of us had really any retail background, but we were just like, okay, if we're going to do this, let's maximize on all the human elements. Let's make it smell good, have music playing, and be very, very nice and welcoming to people that walk in. So it worked somehow.
No,
So,
that does work. That's and like, don't hound people, just do have an idea of what you're looking for. Let us know, kind of give them that space to really explore what you guys are offering in the shop.
Yes, and I forgot a huge part. Our mom designed the entire thing.
Shout out, Mom.
That was very helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely get that mom's touch in there.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, though, is like that's like kind of ahead of its time, because now most businesses are experience-based. Like they're creating spaces, the barbershop feel. Like you're creating that barbershop where I want to go get my hair cut because I want to go talk to the people at the barbershop. And you feel like it's the same reason we support local businesses. And I waited 45 minutes for food instead of 5 minutes because I wanted to go see people that I knew and feel good when I left there, you know, and feel good about that. So were you guys like nervous at all before the first store? Like, did you have like anything in mind, like projections wise of like, okay, this, I mean, you obviously knew like this, we need to hit this to make, because your payroll probably went up too because you had to staff that place as well.
Yeah, well, I even remember as far as brick and mortar stores, you said a little bit before the time, like when the Norm brand first started, kind of the direct-to-consumer craze was really huge. So these were when like these big, quote, unicorns were coming out. So like the Warby Parkers or Harry's Razor or Casper Mattress or Everlane was like a big, like they had raised like hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And I remember talking to my dad and I was like, that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. And he was like, what? He's like, just start a business. Stop worrying about a startup. And so, you know, a business that has a good foundation, that's profitable, et cetera. And so for us, our expansion to brick and mortar at the time, like people were like, the future is all online. Now, if you check Wall Street Journal and stuff, there's tons of articles coming out now about like how even the biggest online companies need these brick and mortar distributions. Outlets. And so it started with our wholesale business, which those wholesale partners we learned so much from, these small businesses or big businesses, boutiques kind of around the country. And they're so important to us. And so we kind of, you know, we were really inspired by them. And then with opening our own, as far as projections go, we never have a clue. It's just, it's kind of making it up. And, you know, you just kind of work scared and you work hard and you get the right people on board. So I think that's one of the things that we've done a good job of, is building a great team. And so that's been a huge advantage for us.
And the last thing, even before the store opened, because some people may not know this, we used to go to all of the area high schools and grade schools, and especially during this time, well, really in holiday season, and do these pop-ups before we had our own physical location. And it was great to see how much people wanted to touch and feel the clothing. And so just making these mini experiences at all the, especially here in St. Louis, and doing like 50 to 100 of these pop-ups. And then we actually had a camper as well, that 1969 Blazon camper that we got completely tricked out and kind of has the feeling of how our stores are. And this was, we would use for trade shows to set up as a display, and then we would also use for selling out of this kind of like a mobile truck type thing. So
people can go inside.
Yeah, people go inside and shop. And
yeah, that's dope.
That's a different experience of itself. So that's
it's
cool.
real though. I mean, I want to buy, like, how many times, like, conversion rate of like how many times people leave stuff in their cart. It's a lot harder to leave something in your cart when you're right there in the store and you can bring it home with you immediately.
We bought that Blazon camper out of a guy's front yard for $600
Nice.
in Illinois.
Well spent.
Yeah. I think that one burned down also, actually.
Oh, you
no, it burned.
Oh,
Yeah, we
no.
were cursed by fires.
You got your use. You got your use.
Well, speaking of fire, you guys, and we're kind of zooming through some stuff, but you've been through some adversity, obviously. I mean, when you had to fire hit your guys' office in 2021, where was it?
2022, last year, last summer.
And where was that at? That was...
We officed in the Central West End for like 6 or 7 years.
Was that the Salt and Smoke fire? Was that the same one? Oh,
yep. They were right below us.
Yeah, she was
in Mission
I
Taco.
opened that
Yeah,
Salt
she was
and
working.
Smoke.
Oh, you did?
Oh, really?
Oh, we were right above that.
Really? Okay. Yeah, because
they still haven't came back. I don't think any of those businesses came back.
Well, that building is...
That Mission was popping too. I like
Yeah.
that Mission. The $2 tequila shot.
Yeah. We ate a lot. Yeah.
Take a work break.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
wow.
so that was 2022. So the fire hit your office. I mean, like, who got, like, you guys got, that was in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah, it started burning in the middle of the night. I got a text from one of our guys, Michael, at like 5 a.m. It was like, hey, I think our building's on fire. I think somebody...
yeah, I was
Were
there.
you out of town?
I think
Okay,
I was
you
out
were
of
out of
town.
town. Yeah. And so I got, dressed and bolted over there and just kind of watched the end of it kind of burn down. You're kind of helpless. And our team showed up, and it was a crazy day, sad day, but then also a lot of great come out of it. You kind of see your who steps up, and you see kind of the core team kind of rally. And we put a plan together quickly. We got a U-Haul. They let us go in there that afternoon after it was kind of totally out. People were crying and stuff like that. We kind of salvaged whatever we could, and we were set up. And this is another great thing about St. Louis. We had while they were still kind of putting it out, the fire department, we went and sourced an office downtown and kind of a co-working space, and we were ready to go. We were set up within, I think, 24 hours. So, and we had tons of people reach out from St. Louis. That's why St. Louis is such an awesome, underrated place. Like, I think people here really root for each other. And so, it was on social media and stuff like that. And we had so many people from different businesses, even businesses we talked about before we went on, of, hey, what can I do to help? Do you guys need a temporary office or whatever? So it's that kind of support that it makes St. Louis special.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was reading some stuff. So like you did lose a few like the first prototypes and some of the shirts, which is a bummer. But I read I think you guys just put out a post about it. Did you recently just put out an Instagram?
Yeah, I
post
think we
about
did.
it?
Oh,
and
yeah.
like how beautiful like everything's came from after that. It's like it's not like rebuilding, but it's like restart, refresh, like
regrowth. Some kind of, it's like a renaissance.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes stuff like that to happen, but yeah, it's crazy. But being able, like you said, St. Louis. I mean, literally anytime something happens, whether it's a restaurant,
they rally.
Yeah, like people
rally.
and that was the thing that was beautiful about not beautiful about the pandemic, but what people did with local restaurants. And now it's like, it's hard not to go to a local spot. Like it's really hard to like drive like and go to, like you feel weird not going to a local spot. And I think that like if one thing out of the pandemic came out of it, like just being able to like remember the people that are in your neighborhood and supporting your people. So
it also helps that the St. Louis food scene is like some of the best. I mean, we travel a lot, and I mean it's tough to beat some of these spots here. It's phenomenal.
It's fire.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, we're going to New York, and New York City's amazing. We're going there next week.
Lots
but
of
like
options.
for they always say that we punch above our weight. So we have a lot less people, a lot less, restaurants, but we have so many good ones. That's why it's hard. Like it's hard to be packed every night when there's so many fire spots.
Yeah.
I know we got to talk about some, but every spot's fire. It's
All bucket list. St. Louis is bucket list place. So let's talk more about the brand. And like, again, you talked about welcoming people into the store and having that environment, but actually like the items that you offer, like what was the style you were going for? Where did the Normal brand name come from? So let's talk about that.
Yeah, it was, so, if you think about what a lifestyle in St. Louis is, or at least for us it was, I was working downtown, but in 20 minutes you could be in the middle of a field without a building in your line of sight, right? And so that versatility of life, which I think is pretty inherently Midwestern, where you can really be like downtown in the middle of a, bustling city or around skyscrapers, and literally 20 to 30 minutes later you can be out in the middle of nowhere. And so that was like our life. Like we were very much we lived in a city, we went to restaurants and things like that, but then we really liked doing stuff outdoors, but I wouldn't say that we were like high performance campers or something like that, right? We just kind of liked that versatility of life, being able to weave in and out of it. So that was kind of the idea. Well, the original idea was I got to find a normal shirt for myself. And so what that meant to me when I really kind of thought about it was overall, number one thing, comfortable. So our fabrics are a huge thing. Everything we start with is our fabrics. And then durability, so just high quality. And we wanted it to be at like a good value price point. And then that Midwestern thing is that versatility. So something you could kind of wear from the city to the country was the idea. And so that was the idea of the first Normal shirt, which was our Pure Meso Henley. And Pure Meso is this knit fabric that has been a big part of our core of our business. Like he's got it on right now. I've got it on the spring version. He's got it on too.
Yes. You can wear it to dinner. You could wear, whatever.
Yeah. And so really that was the idea. And from back in when the idea started, which was 2011, 12, really the mission has stayed the exact same. And so we do and develop and design everything out of St. Louis. And our product team very, very much cares about the details. And that's something that we try to storytell online or in our stores or through our other third-party retailers.
Yeah, it shows. The Normal brand, the name is amazing too.
I know, I love it.
It's simple, and I noticed like everything has no logos on it. It's more just about the shirt, the quality. Because like you said, like back in like the early 2000s, everybody wanted to wear like big logos on everything. But then it was like, dude, I just want to like wear a shirt. I don't want to think about it. I want to think about it. Like Nike, just do it. Like, but now it's like we all wear just plain stuff, you know, unless it has like most of the time if I'm wearing something, here's my brand on it, or it's just a plain shirt, you know. So it's just that's just how it is. But
very good. So then your design team, right? When they're coming up with stuff, do you guys have final say of like, this is what we like, or tweak that, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm pretty involved with the product on everything. So we've got a phenomenal team of designers, developers, fit techs, QC, sourcing, kind of the whole thing. So again, everything really starts with the fabric, and then once we agree, yes, this is a fabric that this is something that I could see myself wearing every day. Then it goes through the process of let's make sure it's got the right colors. Does it take the dye right? Is the fit on point? And so, we've had the benefit of selling through like big retailers and things like that, even when we were a lot smaller. And so we got the benefit of getting the data to really refine our fit. So like for us, when you look at our return rate, it's like industry best when we compare it to other brands. And I think that's a big testament to our product team really caring and just dialing it in with our factory partners and the fit and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then you guys are beyond just menswear as well. So you've got things for women too. And
how early was that introduced? Like the women's was that pretty close?
So a few years ago. So women's a lot younger than men's, but it's a huge growing part of our business. In fact, like when we were looking at the stuff recently, it's for fall, it's out indexing what we expected. And so, that was another thing, just kind of listening to our customers. And they kept calling for it. And, especially as you roll into like Christmas season, a lot of women shop for their guys. And so we were just hearing from tons and tons of women of, hey, you need more women's stuff. So now we've really got a full line that sell through retailers.
Photo shoots you guys have been doing have been crazy too. Like you guys definitely don't skimp on marketing and photo shoots and stuff. It looks fun though. It looks like fun. You guys, were you fishing the other day or something?
Yeah.
So you guys work and play a little bit?
Fishing out in Colorado, Didn't catch one.
Did you not? You just must be terrible at fishing, my God.
Are you not a good fisherman?
We were talking about before off the podcast. We were talking to Big over here, and he was like, I didn't catch any fish at Forest Park. I'm like, that's a you problem, bro. That's not a fishing problem. You're not patient enough.
Well, at first I thought it was Forest Park. Now I'm like, Conrad, hold on a minute.
So I want to kind of roll back to wholesale because Lan, you said that you guys said that you do a lot of the wholesale. So are you traveling the country? Is a lot of that virtual now, or is it still going in and seeing people? And
no, it's still important to go to all the trade shows. So we talked about Chicago. There's Dallas. There's a bunch of regional shows. Charlotte. We've just by talking to tons of people that have been in the industry and networking, we've learned so much, and just by going to these shows. And now we've learned which shows not to go to. So, and then meeting with our retailers and getting feedback. We also have sales reps that travel all over the country and call on these boutiques. And I don't know if I said this before, but we're all over the U.S. from a wholesale perspective. We're also in Canada, which is newer for us in the last year. So we're distributed in Canada. And it's a very important to be, during the pandemic, we weren't able to meet with them in person, but after that, it's important to meet with them face to face so they can touch and feel the product. And we actually meet with these boutiques about 6 months in advance. And then they'll look at the line, and we get a bunch of feedback, and they're actually ordering that far in advance. And it helps us plan for the future. So
help you know what to order, how much quantity to order,
And real quick, in 2015, when we talked about the first trade show we ever had, we always say this, is that the 4 shirts that we had, 3 of them were bad, just not good, and 1 was good. And it ended up being what we called Pure Meso. And so we've just taken that and have really expanded on it and made a full-on Pure Meso collection and done it in tons of different silhouettes, quarter zips that Henley Conrad's wearing, even lightweight, the V-neck Jimmy's wearing, and joggers, and have a full collection based around this word that no one can say, which is Pure Meso.
Pure Meso.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love it. I'm going to go in and get you one of each.
Well, we might have some in our bags.
I know, but we have money to spend. Let's do it. Let's get in there.
We're not on the normal brand level, but come on now. So you guys opened your 9th store just recently in Springfield. Got a grand opening party. This episode's airing October 11th. So the opening party's tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the opening party's tomorrow. So you drive out to Springfield, go to the opening party. But tell us about, did you guys personally see yourself having a lot? So you basically have 3. You have the wholesale, you have your retail, and then you have your e-com, and then events and all the other stuff that you guys do. But the stores, opening 9 stores in the last, 5 to 7 years is crazy. I mean, that's good, and I'm sure that's picking up. I know there's definitely more on the way. There's got to be.
I think so the first one in St. Louis worked, and then we got together and we're like, okay, let's open a second one. And so we were kind of in between a bunch of different cities. At that time, we didn't even think about doing a second in St. Louis. Yeah. Now we have 3 here, and we're really happy to have 3. But our second store we opened was in Nashville on Broadway in 2021. So COVID happened. COVID kind of ended, and then September of 2021 we opened on Broadway, and that was the first deal that we did with our other brother Nico, who's the third. He lives in Nashville. He found the store for us, and I think when we opened that one, and it performed, and like 90% of the people are from different parts of the country, we got more confidence to be like, okay, we can really open a lot of stores and do them in different cities. And so I just remember us getting together and saying, if we're gonna do it, we really want to keep that like same intentionality on the experience, regardless of where we go or how many we have. So we did Nashville, then we did Kansas City in 2022, like I think it was June of 22, and we've opened 7 in less than a year and a half. So.
Just foot on the gas. Just keep opening more.
A little bit, yeah.
It was keeping that same quality, but now you know what to do. Now it's never plug and play, but at least you have like a blueprint on what to do. But it's a huge investment every time. You know, so you still good at negotiating leases and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Yeah.
I mean, commercial real estate, they probably want it. You know, especially these malls and stuff. So
yeah.
So you're all entrepreneurs and you all work together as family members, right? You're brothers. And so if you were going to give advice to a listener or even a younger viewer who's like, I want to do something for myself, but there's a fear, right? There's some element that's like holding them back. What would you guys advise to that listener?
I think that people ask about advice sometimes, and like I've said this before, I do hesitate to give it sometimes because sometimes we're so early in our journey with this, and we mess up so much that sometimes it can feel like the best man who got married like a year ago and is giving the married couple like a bunch of advice. And you're like, God, shut up.
What do you know?
Yeah, what do you know exactly? Like, go to the bar. Sure. But the one thing that worked for us, I think for sure, is that mindset, and it's something that everybody can control, which is we touched on a little bit earlier, which is that kind of that burn the boats mentality mindset. Like, my only option is to make this work, because I think no matter what you do, or if you're trying to do something, you know, meaningful or worthwhile or new or whatever, you're going to run into so many issues, like so many problems, like every single day. And if you lay out a bunch of options for yourself, I think it's just human nature to jump on the next option, the first problem you run into. And so I think put yourself in the mindset of, no matter what, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to get through any obstacle, and this is going to be successful. I think it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah. I think I agree with that. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that Jimmy said, I think going along with that, a thing that came to mind was never get too comfortable. And I think that at times when all of the growth's happening, it can be easy to kind of get, at least with me, sometimes you feel comfortable. So just, never get too comfortable. Yeah, and constantly there's more and more that we can, that you can do. And when it first started, it wasn't comfortable, you know, cold calling all these stores that would hang up on you and have no idea what you're talking about and trying to figure out the direction. And so just keeping that same mentality.
Is it easy to like remove the hat, the brother hat, the employee hat, the work hat, like when you get, because you guys hang out a lot?
Are you guys talking business at Thanksgiving dinner?
Yes. Yeah, I think the best thing about this is when you're doing things like this, the number one thing is that you need partners you can depend on. Right. And so we grew up in a family where there was not a lot of like passive aggression or like weird stuff like that. Like if you had a fight, you had a fight, you know, and it's like, and then you get over it and you move on. So things like that happen all the time. Like thoughtful disagreements would maybe be like the academic term for it. And frankly, it's something that we encourage. We encourage it with non-family teammates. And so I think that us being brothers, what it really nails home is we can completely depend on each other. We depend on each other for way more than business. You know, I trust my life with them. Yeah. And so it's like the idea of running a business, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. And having brothers, like, by any means necessary, like, we're going to get it done. Like, It's not like, oh, let me check with them, see if they can come do this. You know, like, hey, come here now. Like, let's get it. Let's roll.
And I would just add, our role models are incredible. So two amazing grandpas, our mom's dad, our dad's dad, and then our dad. Just a tremendous role model, and anytime we have questions, we can just go to him.
Yeah,
and
that is nice.
It's very, I'm very lucky to have that.
Yeah, and they've, I agree, and both sets of grandparents and our parents have not only set the bar extremely high, which is important, but and I think my grandma said this, is that to much has been given, much is expected. And I think that having that ingrained in us since we were kids was super helpful and super important, that don't take it for granted and go out and make something, out of yourselves. So that's been ingrained in all of us. And I think all of siblings, and there's, we have tons of cousins all over, and and we're lucky.
Yeah, I love how highly you guys speak of your family. Family is everything, and if you have a good one that's dependable, it's everything. So I love that you guys just touch on that, and that's built into what it is that you guys do.
And sometimes it's just seeing it, like being able to see other people in your family do things before you do it gives you confidence. Like some families aren't as blessed to have a lot of entrepreneurs in their family, so it's really hard to imagine yourself doing something special. And you guys are building something. I mean, the amount of stores that you guys have is insane. Building something special. Is St. Louis still your #1 city for sales, or is it Nashville? Because I think Nashville is probably pretty high. I could just see people in Nashville rocking like.
St. Louis is amazing. It's the only city we have 3 stores in. So, as far as the #1 best store,
you don't have to say it. It's all good. It is 100%. But and not even store, but just like people, because if you drop something with your 40 cousins, with your brothers and sisters, and your parents, you're gonna get at least 50 sales. Right
Yeah, they get a pretty good discount.
Yeah, you're gonna get at least 50 sales. I saw like you guys all have your little links in the bio. You got all these affiliates going and stuff. But no, it's real though, because like we've done stuff before, and it's like, we'll drop something and like a shirt like that's for charity or something, and first people to buy it are our friends and family, and then it'll float. I'm like, because we have like 100,000 followers. I'm like, oh dude, at least 1% are gonna buy it.
Right?
No, not even. But it's like it is. So we're out of the merch game. We tried it twice, but we're done.
Figure out what works and what doesn't. Figure that out quick.
Yeah.
Do you guys do anything special for like holiday season or like Black Friday shopping or anything like that?
Yes. So
it's coming up. So
every single one of our stores, I'll just focus on St. Louis stores because it's STL Bucket List. But we have Black Friday deals at all of them. I believe every single one of them. Last year we had a live musician. We have drinks. We have food. So it's just basically a massive party on Black Friday.
Love that. That's cool.
And it starts very
Don't just
early.
shop, but
And you guys
like
do
hang
multiple
out.
things like throughout the holiday season.
Yeah.
I knew you did last year.
Yeah.
We had a Christmas party with a reindeer. So we really just try to keep it fun.
Live reindeer.
Very good.
Yeah. What was the reindeer's name?
Oh, and we had the horse, the Clydesdales.
Yeah.
Well, you guys do a lot of
Wow.
events.
Yeah,
Didn't you guys
Kirkwood.
do like a steak cooking event with some guy too? And you guys did like some
Jack
running
Ron.
events and like fitness.
Yep.
Is fitness big for you guys, like the fitness community?
Yes, definitely. And I think getting back to what we touched on earlier is, especially now that we have our own stores, is making them an experience that you actually want to be at, and not just going in where you feel like it's unapproachable or you got to walk on eggshells. It's like you come in and it's like you're home. So you're invited in, you get a drink, water, or if you like drink beer or whatever it may be, and there's music, there's food. So
you have beer and whiskey and stuff at
there's
your
a full
stores.
bar.
Yeah, that's dope.
And like Lan and Jimmy said, these retailers that we've been selling to since the beginning, we're able to see like which ones were performing well and kind of learn from them. And I think you mentioned it. You're like, how do you project? Like, what do you? I think you said, how do you deal with uncertainty? We really just in the beginning wanted to focus on what we can control, and so events and that like intentional experience was huge in the beginning. So every single one of our stores has an event once a month, and then during Christmas it starts to get even more. So
and the mindset, if we don't sell anything, at least we'll have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just marketing. It's just marketing expense to have the events, and like you said, you have
bring
fun. You
people
go
together.
out, you hang out. Like events are huge. I mean, just bringing people into your store and experience it. And that's probably the coolest thing about having an e-commerce store is cool, but like seeing your stuff in person and being able to have your sets. And you mentioned the retail partners. The more and more you work with them, the more likely they're going to have a bigger set for you, or to be able to go and create stuff for it. Just like the beer industry. You're selling more beer, I'm going to create a set. And stuff like that. So, and your guys' like style is super distinct, especially for St. Louis market. Like it sticks out, like with the, it's not, I wouldn't say, would you say rustic? No? Like what's
that's what we've Yeah, I think rustic vibe. I think the main thing is we want people to put it on and be like, God, that's comfortable. That's like that's the main thing. We have our own like aesthetic. Like, we use earth tones. That's a big thing with fall right now.
That's like I like those words because to me that's like comforting, right? Like an earthy like color or like it's just neutral. It fits for everyone, you know. So
And you guys do some collabs too. So I know that was it Luke Combs you guys did something with? And then a couple other guys. I saw some stuff online about that. And you guys were like on the news for one collab that you did, like a lot of give backs and things like that. So
yeah, we've done some really cool stuff with country music. That's been a great like vertical for us, and like those guys wear our stuff. Our sister actually, she's a beast. She manages Luke Combs on Luke Combs' management team. So she really kind of helped us get into that, and that was our first. We did a hat collaboration with Luke Combs that benefited during COVID, benefited the Barstool Fund, so giving right back to like small businesses. So we raised like $125,000, I think. It was a cool thing, and yeah, we were on Fox and Friends, put us on there, and we did a thing, and then we more recently did one with Lee Bryce. And that benefited Folds of Honor, another just phenomenal organization for the military. Right. And we were on Fox and Friends again for that. And so we were able to raise a bunch of money for that. So, yeah, and then the country music, and then, you know, like a bunch of these guys are wearing our stuff. And so, yeah, but when there's opportunities to do a cool collaboration with someone that you respect, and then on top of that, it benefits an awesome organization, it's just a win-win-win.
And to work with our sister.
Right. Just extend that family line again.
She invited, I was out of town. It wasn't it was your sister Carmen. We did like a giveaway for her with the babysitting. Shout out. She's got a great babysitting company. We're definitely going to use her. I meant to tell you about her, but we're definitely going to use her. But she was like, hey, like, we were going to do a trade, and I was going to get tickets to Luke Combs at Bush, but we were out of town that weekend. I was like, dang, dude. It was way more value than, than whatever it was. But it would have been dope. And I know they were fire seats too. So that's cool to like get to like collaborate. And you mentioned your other brother, like collaborating with him on real estate and different things like that, and just being able to pull on resources and knowledge of other people, because that a lot of that knowledge and resources is very expensive sometimes, but to be able to tap into those resources from people in your family.
And Carmen with Find a Sitter. Well, we had her babysitters at our Black Friday party last year to babysit the little kids and do ornaments. So
okay, we'll be there next year. We're there. Keep that going.
So this is kind of a crazy question, but like you have dream stores or every store, but like if you could be in a dream location that you're not in yet, do you guys have a bulletin board where it's like you have a map and you're like, these are like some of the dream locations?
For me, honestly, I just love our like it might sound cliche, but our existing 9 stores and the teams in the stores are incredible. So really don't have like a specific dream store. We're going to keep opening them, but I just really am focused on the 9 that we have and the like awesome managers and people in the stores. So we're another thing that our grandpa used to say is you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with.
That's right.
And so I think that we've really added a lot of great people on our store teams and our main office, our sales reps, and so we're just lucky to have such awesome people to work with. Yeah.
You have to create. That was a great answer, by the way. You have to create that.
Good answer.
I'm like, all right, man. Come on. He's been trained. But no, for real, though. But, like, you're right, though. And I'm starting to realize that in business, it's the people, and it's bigger than business, and it's bigger than, margins and whatever. It's finding those people that really care about your brand and really will go to bat for you, because you're not going to be in Nashville every day. You're not going to be in – you guys are at the Mall of America, too. You're not going to be up in Minneapolis all the time. Denver, like that's not an easy way. You can't just drive over to Denver real quick, So it's being able to find people and find people that fit your culture, and company and town that I'm inspired by is First Form. I mean, they've just been able to build an incredible culture. That the way that people like put their bio, their Instagram name, like they are literally like it's crazy.
Mission.
Like it's
awesome.
It's crazy what they're doing, and it's like when I go there, like I've been there a few times, and I'm like, geez, how do you build something like this? You just like, do you have a book on how to do this? But like, it really is just giving people power, and it's hard, and it's making it bigger than yourself. It's not just the brothers; it's all the people that work together to. How many employees do you guys have?
We have like 70.
70. Okay. Part-time, full-time, and part-time probably more sometimes too. In the holidays, you probably kick up a little bit.
Yeah,
just
I think
full-time,
it'll go up
too.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think? The big question.
Yeah, so the STL Bucket List show. First of all, thank you guys for coming on the show today. Absolutely making the time. The STL Bucket List question. So we asked this to a lot of our guests. We like to figure out what is on people's STL bucket list. We like to find out, things to do, places to go. So I'm going to go around the wheel here. If somebody's coming in town, you got, one of your buddies coming in town, what's a bucket list spot that you're going to do, or an experience that you're going to do?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. First of all, I think we already touched on this. The food scene in St. Louis is unbelievable. There's some incredible spots, and I'm not going to go down the list of all of them because there's just too many, honestly. I also think it's a huge sports town, so going to a Blues game is in 2019 when the Blues had that Stanley Cup run, and then also as a side, the Normal brand is also, if you go to Enterprise, we actually have a Blues Normal brand collection there, and so I think going to a Blues game is a incredible experience.
Do you have a team that you like seeing the Blues verse? Like if Blackhawks are here, how to go?
Yeah, it's a good question. It used to be. I feel like it used to be the Blackhawks. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of who. Yeah. Predators.
Bridgestone Arena is dope. It's right there. It's crazy.
They all
right just file out of the game.
That's
it's right there.
Right
I was just at what's that for my bachelor party? We were up at the bar on the roof. Is that Jason Aldean's or was that Whiskey Row? Whiskey Row is the rooftop.
Yeah,
I probably walked right by your store.
Yeah.
It's lit.
Right by that heavy
But the hockey guys had a booth out there. They walked right out of the game and went up to the booth. I'm like, dude, this is incredible. Yeah. I'm like, this is crazy. They kicked us out of our booth.
12:30 club.
They literally did. They said, at 12 o'clock, you guys had to get out of your booth. And I was like, all right, that's fine. And then I saw these guys, big ass dudes come in, and I was like,
all right, they're important.
Yeah, but it was that was cool. What about you, man? What's your bucket list? I know you can't fish though.
Yeah, we talked about a forest park I love. I used to run around it. Then I went to a bike, and then now I've got an electric bike that I whip around it in. So forest park's awesome. Yeah. You got the zoo there. You got everything. And the lakes. Yeah. I'm going to catch a fish.
You will catch a fish.
Just let us know when that. Just shoot us a message. But I got one. Right. Just send us a pic.
You got to be patient, man. And then what about you? You have a family too. Awesome. What's a bucket list family day for you kind of thing? You got
Yeah. So on a Saturday, there are so many incredible restaurants for dinner and stuff like that. But I think Caldi's Coffee is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So we'll go to Caldi's Coffee. And then I think as far as a bakery, this is a weird thing to bring up, but the Union Loafers bread is the best.
We talk about it all the time. I just signed up at work to bring some. We have a potluck next week. I'm like, I got the good stuff.
So I'll buy multiple loaves and drive it around like I'm a bread man, on a random Saturday.
You got to pre-order
that. My kids love it too. I do. Yes, I know.
That's great.
It's good for the holidays. That's awesome. Yeah, they have some fire sandwiches too. That trout salad that I get from there.
Oh yeah.
Sheesh. Yeah, we eat so much. I mean, we go to so many amazing restaurants. That's one of the blessings about our page is we get invited to go try all these new spots all the time.
What's your favorite?
Yeah, it's nice. What's my favorite? Oh, come on, bro.
Favorite restaurant?
So my favorite restaurant. So we live in Southampton. So Russell's on Macklin is our favorite brunch spot. We have so many good memories there. It's so good.
Get the cinnamon roll.
Okay. The cinnamon roll. My favorite place, I like Oio. I like Oio Tower Grove. I like Grace Meat and 3 is one of our spots that we go to. Yeah. And these are a lot of these guys have been on the pod. A lot of these chefs.
I love Yellow Belly.
Yellow Belly.
That's where I want to go for my birthday this year. Yeah. It never misses. It's just again it's a good environment to be in, you know. And
what's the first spot we're gonna go after the baby?
We're going to Sato because I want sushi. I need sushi and I'm
10 out of 10.
Yeah,
so
that place is insane. Cocktails. That's why we like Yellow Belly. Their cocktails are on point.
Mm-hmm.
The mezcal margarita from there, or the Lazy Tiger. Yeah. I mean, we could literally talk about.
What about the best breakfast burrito in St. Louis?
Breakfast burrito.
check bro.
You know what? Breakfast burrito. I'm not even sure, but
so specific.
What'd you say?
Southwest Diner has great breakfast.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I won't say a burrito, but I went to oh my gosh, what Hatched? Is that the place I went after yoga one time?
Kind of like near
off Gravoy. Yeah. They had what did I get from there? I know, but I told you about it.
You sent me a picture.
I don't eat eggs. I'm not into eggs really, but I got a scrambled hash. Oh my god.
Right.
Go to Hatch.
I gotta go
there. Get it. Any of them will do. My best friend had one. I had a different one, and I tried both. And I'm like, damn, why don't I like eggs?
Starving.
The baby likes eggs, so we're eating eggs now. But it was good.
One of the best experiences in St. Louis is called Dinner at the Loft, and it's one of our good friends, Elliot Brown. He's a chef. And he does private dinners. You can reserve up to 20 people. Yes. So like it's like $150 a plate, but they include cocktail pairings.
Nice.
And he's opening up a new location over on is it Washington, next door to Omen Coffee? So it's gonna be right next to Omen Coffee. And he's gonna have biscuits during the day. It's gonna be like it's called the biscuit joint, and then at night it's gonna turn into the private dining. Oh, gravy, bro! I know you ride an electric bike, bro. I know you like gravy, burritos, and biscuits. Come on, bro. But yeah, we'll.
Conrad's a breakfast man.
Yeah. So no, there's so many good spots. I mean, like you said, but yeah, Oio is like my favorite low key spot to go get hummus and.
There's a lot on the hill too. Those sandwich places.
Yeah, Adriana's, Joya's,
Ted Drew's, best in the country.
Is it? That's
really
hers is Fritz's, bro, because we're from St. Charles.
Don't do me like that.
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, well,
she's been, yeah, we've been to Ted.
It's like I don't know.
You know Fritz's. Fritz's is like another.
Fritz's is?
You might not.
Like
It's on St. Charles.
No, I know what it is.
I just think I grew up on it, and I'm like, that is.
So the North County people are like Doodles or something. Like everybody's got their own. It's where you grow up at is what your favorite frozen custard place is. So.
Do you guys know what about Sazitza? Do you know what Sazitza?
Oh, I made some Sazitza in the hill. So my buddy Dallas, his dad's brother lives in there, and he has a body shop in the hill, and it's like they have a Sazitza making. It was my first time. Like I've had it, we've had it growing up, 100%, but I got to make it. Yeah. And it wasn't the most pleasant thing to look at and make. Like I wouldn't like bring Marissa there to make it because it is very intense. It was kind of like the turkey for Thanksgiving, like pull stuff. Yeah. But no, Sazitza is fire. Yeah.
Amazing.
My family is Italian, so.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Yeah, her mom's side, they throw down. Like, you can't bring anything that's not prepared. Like, I wanted to go buy.
We don't do store-bought. Like, I think, like, the
first
family occasion.
But I wanted to, buy a cake from somewhere nice, like a Russell's Bakery. I was going to buy a cake. She's like,
no, we bake from scratch. We make everything from scratch.
So food, and we're Italian, too, and then my mom's Greek. So food is, like, a huge part of our, I feel like in our group chats, food's just always talked about. So the restaurants in St. Louis, and then also our mom is an incredible cook, so we're really lucky. Yeah,
that is nice.
And my dad
I have to ask, do you guys have like a good like spaghetti sauce? Like, do you guys have like a family sauce? Like, we have a sauce, and I'm like, this is the sauce.
Yeah, our mom makes like a 3-meat one. That's like
we gotta come over one day. That's the bucket list spot.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Yes. Family dinner anytime. Let us know, we're there.
All right, sounds good, guys. We'll see you guys. Thank you guys again for coming on. If you guys just want to drop some of the website social tags real quick, and then we can wrap it up. So.
Yeah. It's pretty easy. It's thenormalbrand.com and then @thenormalbrand. So we're on everything: LinkedIn, Instagram,
TikTok.
Facebook.
We got your social media manager in here today. Shout out getting that behind the scenes content.
Abby's tearing it up.
And there's 3 stores in St. Louis. So
I guess I can give the address.
Yeah, the address.
So the 8809 Ladue, 110 North Clay by Billy G's
and Kirkwood.
In Kirkwood, and then at the West County Mall, 2nd floor next to Nordstrom.
Perfect.
Billy G.
We also sell the Alpine Shop, and there'll be another store. I don't know if we can announce soon that'll be carrying us as well. So
look on the website.
And new stores are coming. You guys will drop on social when those get announced.
2 more.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot, guys. That was fun.
Hey, St. Louis. My name is Peyton Gillis. I'm a CPA, and we help business owners, real estate investors, and other professionals use the same tax-savvy strategies utilized by the ultra-wealthy and corporate America to save thousands in taxes each year. I'm very excited to be hosting an advanced real estate tax planning workshop. The event will be held live in O'Fallon, Missouri on October 26th, with an option to attend virtually as well. The goal, to help educate investors and professionals on how to leverage the lucrative tax benefits of real estate to improve their ROIs, increase their overall portfolios, and accelerate their wealth building journeys. So whether you're a new or a seasoned real estate investor, if you're serious about building wealth through real estate, I promise this will be an event you do not want to miss.
Today, they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.